Once upon a time, in an enchanted kingdom, there was a beautiful princess with skin as white as snow and hair as black as night.
Blah, blah, blah. Her hair is not black, it's raven, and she's 18 years old, and her skin has never seen the sun, so of course it's good.
This spring,
Mirror, mirror on the wall.
Who's the fairest of them all?
Snow White.
What? Snow White.
a classic tale
Do you want to hear it?
gets a new wrinkle.
They're not wrinkles. They're just crinkles. Banish her to the woods.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the most beautifulest, most righteous, most badass brother, daddy, cat daddy of them all? Boy, I got a magic mirror.
Mirror's not here right now, but if you'd like to leave a message after the beep, please do so. Beep.
No, it's not you, silly. Get out of here. Yeah, it's usually me answering myself back.
Oh.
Saying everything I say. Yeah, get out of here. What kind of imposter do you think you are? And speaking of imposters, man, this is Snow White.
Yeah, it is.
The legend comes alive.
I know.
All right, all those other Snow Whites, that Disney shit, dead.
Oh, forget about it. Yeah,
Yeah, forget about it.
This is the new shit. Out with the old, in with the new.
Yeah, it's that new shit. Yeah, yeah, it comes alive.
But
here.
don't worry. I think in a few months, some more new shit's coming out to replace this at some point.
I know. What is up with all these Snow White movies, man?
I know. At first, I was curious. I was like, okay, mirror, mirror. I can only assume it's Snow White. And then I thought maybe I'm getting this confused with something else that's called Snow White and the Huntsman. Yeah. So, and then I realized, oh, wait, they're two completely different films. So they're just coming out around, I guess, around the same.
Well,
what?
The Huntsman movie, Snow White and the Huntsman, is going to be released
summer?
in the summer.
Okay.
So in this one, I guess this one got the rush, which it kind of felt like it.
It really, it really did.
I mean, it's funny because you see this every now and then, this cycle of studios. Now, I don't know if that's the case here. This could have been a complete coincidence.
Coinky-dink,
yeah. Coinky-dink, yeah. But somebody heard something about a Snow White movie being made, and they're like, oh, shit, wait a minute, that movie got Thor? And got that chick from Twilight.
I know. All those goddamn kids are going to show up for that one.
Yeah.
Oh, we better get this shit out quick. Come on.
I know.
Called up the Three Stooges to fucking put this together.
Because that's what it seemed like. It was like, hey man, that movie's coming out. We got to get the jump on that. Hey man, we only got about 3 weeks to get that. I don't get it done. Right? It don't need to be good.
We got to be first.
Yeah, people gonna think they're gonna see that Snow White shit coming out in the summer. We gonna beat them and fool them into seeing our movie right here. Get that dude that did Immortals. He makes shit look pretty.
I know. Right?
Yeah.
I think they might have called him right in the middle of doing Immortals. That's probably why Immortals wasn't all that great.
And why this probably isn't all that great either. This story is very similar to Grimm's fairy tale story. You have a wicked queen who schemes to take the ruling of this kingdom away from the daughter of the king she married. The
Snow White.
The king's the Snow White. Yeah, the king's at the picture. She knows that this girl, she's like, wait a minute, this bitch gonna come up and try to take everything I have. She sends her to the woods to be murdered. The person who takes her out there can't murder her. She ends up being adopted by these dwarves. And later on in the story, we see the queen get her comeuppance.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
Same exact Snow White story that you've seen.
Yeah, except here, I think that's, for the modern age, what we have is we have a Snow White that I guess is a little more, is a stronger female character. A female that takes more control of her destiny. A female that fights back.
They toughen her up a bit.
They toughen her up. I mean, to the point where she fights.
Because, of course, these are modern days and people like their women to be tough instead of weak and stupid and,
Boy, I miss those days, don't you?
Yeah, in the kitchen, cooking, sweeping, and all that shit I love in the Walt Disney production.
Yeah,
where things make sense.
See, that Disney Snow White, she knew her place, man. She wasn't fighting me, people. When danger went down, what she do? She went and hid in the corner like a woman should.
Yeah,
people we joking.
She'd either hid in the corner or went outside and sang with the goddamn birds.
That's what I'm
I like that. I like that version.
What are those good old days?
Yeah.
People, we're joking here. But Lily Collins is Snow White in this movie.
Yes, she is.
We have
Julia Roberts
as the wicked queen.
As the queen, yeah.
And we have Armie Hammer.
Or Armand Hammer.
Armie Hammer, is that that boy's name?
Yeah, you're right.
Armie
I
Hammer.
always want to call him Armand Hammer.
Yeah, Armie Hammer, who we saw people got to know him in The Social Network.
Yeah.
If you probably knew him from his baking soda before that. That's how I know.
No
you
shit,
know,
yeah.
Man, my boy came from humble beginnings, man.
Yeah, I know. What's the thing? A period when things made sense to me.
Yeah, what happened when that dude used to make baking soda?
Yeah.
Then one day he decided to start acting.
I love throwing his ass in the fridge. Yeah, keeping it fresh.
He soaked up all my bad odors, you know. Took care of my heartburn when I poured him in water. Now he's acting.
That's right.
But yeah, he plays the Prince Charming here, and then we have Nathan Lane as the wicked queen's
The buffoon.
As the henchman,
Yeah.
but comic relief henchman. But I tell you, I shouldn't just single Nathan Lane out as comic relief because that's this movie. Well, you had this Snow White and the Woodsman or the Huntsman or whatever coming out in the summer. That's more of an edgy film.
Right.
This one, I guess their kind of programming to that film is that this film in particular is a straightforward children's film.
It really is.
Yes, PG.
In every sense of the word. And I think for me, that's kind of the problem with it sometimes because I was like, okay, from the previews, you know, they're already letting you know, okay, you're about to watch a goddamn kids movie because every preview that you see is directed towards kids.
Yeah.
So as soon as the movie starts, you're like, all right, you know, I could tell that they were trying to put somewhat of a modern kind of twist to it as well with the dialogue, especially when Julia Roberts, you know, she's the one who starts the narrating the story.
Yeah.
But every once in a while she'll break out of the storybook type of, you know, storytelling and go, yeah, you know, and things suck sometimes here. And you're just like, okay, I guess they're trying to put their little cool spin so the kids can identify with it.
It's very farcical.
Yeah.
I mean, the movie's a farce. I mean, they're not trying to be serious at all.
My problem with it though is it's something that I wish they would have, you know, either decided to keep going with it because I thought they kind of dropped the ball on that as the movie went along, where it started to seem more like they were playing more towards a Nick Jr. kind of crowd, which I think that's the problem where it lost me, like with a lot of the humor. You know?
Yeah, no, this isn't bad, man.
You know what? It's not bad. But the thing is, it's once again, it's directed by Tarjim.
Tarjim Singe.
Yeah, Tarjim Sims.
His trademark now is to make movies that look beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's either that he has great visuals or he has really cool sets and costume designs.
Oh yeah, I mean, with his films are always like, you know, style over substance.
It is. He even said that.
It really is, yeah. And yeah, if he is saying that in the interviews, then it's very true.
Yeah.
Because you can't help but, you know, see all of his movies and just go, yeah, this is made by the same guy because once again, it's beautiful to look at, but watching it, you feel like, man, there's not much of anything else going on.
No. It's almost like he starts shooting. People say, hey, man, you going off script. You're like, wait a minute, we got a script?
I know. What?
I'm just shooting.
Yeah. What the fuck is that?
Script, huh?
Yeah.
Story? Hey, man, I shot for 3 weeks and now you telling me we got a story?
Yeah,
Sorry. Hey, the movie's done. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, studio. Thanks for the money.
Yeah. I got to go shoot Immortals now.
I know.
Talk to y'all later. But this movie in particular, it has those elements that we know Tarjim Singe for. It does have beautiful cinematography. It does have great set pieces. It does have great costumes. But for some reason, all that seems kind of flat because of the way he lit it.
You know,
I don't know if it's him or a cinematographer, but it's like very flat lighting.
Yeah,
on this.
you're right because with so many colors, you know, you imagine everything would be really popping on the screen, but I don't know what it is if what they do to the film if like they color correct it to where it's not as bright as you would imagine it should be. Because I mean, you can't help but think when you're watching his movie sometimes it's like, why do I feel like this looks like a little too murky? Why I don't get it. You always think there's a problem with the projector.
Yeah, I mean, I've always admired his visual style. I've noticed that he has a palette that I don't always that I'm not always crazy about. It's very copper, very gold, very yellow oriented. I mean, with a flash of red or some primary color in order to throw things off a little bit. I'm not, I ain't no painter people, so I probably don't know what I'm talking about. All right. But I'm just saying it's like the sets feel like sets. You know, the houses seem like either a combination of CG or paper mache.
Right.
But that's only accentuated by the feeling for me of this movie having a very television style quality. It goes between comical to the point of cartoony. And by cartoony, I mean just broad wackiness, and so thin that this broad humor is carried by a very thin television style of acting and blocking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny that all this money goes into the visuals here, and it's all brought down by the TV movie feel of the story here.
It had more,
and the acting too.
Yeah, it had more of a. I feel like I'm watching like a community theater in a way, where people are like really, being exaggerated, but then again, it's like you could tell it is really being directed towards kids, to where even the music, they constantly have to remind you that this is for children, because like the score of it is a complete Looney Tunes score. The entire score throughout the whole movie. I mean, you are somewhat getting manipulated by the scenes, especially when there's physical comedy going on with this Looney Tunes goddamn score. Because I mean, I kept waiting for Bugs Bunny or the Roadrunner to pop up or the coyote chasing him. I mean, there's a lot of musical cues there where it was like they were really, pounding you over the head, just trying to let you know, like, this is for children.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of slapstick, but again, when you say it felt like kind of community theater, it did. I mean, I know that these actors and actors, I mean, Jesus, we got Julia Roberts in here.
Yeah.
We just saw Armie Hammer and J. Edgar, and where he had to age several years. I mean, we know these people can act. I mean, poor Lily Collins in here, she looks great. She looks like a very young Audrey Hepburn, but she's not given too much to do.
No,
and as
not
for
at
somebody like Armie Hammer and Julia Roberts starts narrating the movie in this fake British accent, which she kind of floats in and out of, which is, look, if you commit to it or don't.
Right,
Armie Hammer, I know he's supposed to be Prince Charming. He's supposed to be very broad, because that character is played to the point of parody now, that Prince Charming type. But even here, it's like, man, I'm not buying your acting, man.
Yeah, well, there's moments where he's really hamming it up, and there's moments where he's really playing it for like almost cartoonish laugh. Halfway through the movie, he starts to become a cartoon character, just with his facial expressions, and how he's reacting to her. It's like, it's a bit unsettling, because there are a lot of scenes in this movie where, especially with Armie Hammer, there's a scene where he gets a potion, and it's actually a potion for a dog, and all of a sudden, like, he starts, acting like a dog. You hear dog noises out of nowhere.
So you didn't like that?
You can't help. No, I was really cringing. It was one of those things where you feel kind of embarrassed for the guy. It's like, man, I hope they're paying him a lot of money to act this goddamn
I tell
foolish.
you why.
I know, because I was like, man, I know this is for kids, but wow, why do I feel really embarrassed right now for the guy? I'm like, man, your friends are going to see this. They're going to give you shit.
Don't feel embarrassed. That check was more than ever we'll see in the next 3 years, man. But I tell you why I liked it. Because I felt like he was actually starting to do something. I felt like he dropped the whole riffing on Prince Charming and overacting while he was doing that. I was like, look, man, if you're going to overact, you might as well just do it to this goofy point. We're acting like a dog. Right. I'll take that. And I like that part of it. Yeah.
It was a little too much for me. It was like, okay, now you're going to a point of absurdity. And I think that's the problem with this movie. It's so uneven with how they want to approach this material. It's like they can't tell if they want to like get it to such a childish point to where it is watching like live action, Looney Tunes cartoon, or if they want to like try to give it some substance, like a real like beautiful retelling of the Snow White story. It kept like being so unbalanced that the part of me was like, man, this is really pretty to look at, but man, I feel confused as fuck watching this. Like, what are you really trying to accomplish here with this?
Like I said, at moments it seems like they're trying to make a farce. At moments it seems like they're trying to make a straightforward live action cartoon. At moments it seems like they ain't trying to make shit and just putting the camera on something that looks nice.
Yeah, just something that looks beautiful.
Yeah,
and even that gets old after a while, because it's like after you see the castle so many times, they keep showing it to you in every goddamn direction they can possibly. The camera goes in the most weirdest angles to cover the castle, where I'm like, throughout this movie, I was like, wow, I've seen every goddamn angle of this castle that I could possibly see.
Oh, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's like, man, we spent 5 months building this castle on this computer. We're going to show every part of it. In fact, we hired this realtor over here to give you a tour of the castle like you buying it.
It's like your friend like having a video game controller where he has the point of view where you can like fuck around with the joystick to see every angle.
You mess around the X-axis and
enough already. Dude.
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
Okay, I see under the castle now. All right, I'm looking at rocks. Okay,
can we do something here?
Yeah. Whoa, I'm over the castle
yeah,
now.
Play the goddamn game already.
Oh yeah, man. I tell you who I did like though. I like two people. I like Nathan Lane. Man, it's hard not to like Nathan Lane.
You know what? That guy, he is in every sense a seasoned actor. I mean, because the thing is, he knew exactly what he was doing. He seemed like the only one who knew what was going on with this, to where he played a consistent, just silly buffoon. And he was really funny at it. He really like committed himself to that role.
That guy can make some of the most trite lines sound funny. I mean, first of all, you're right. He is a seasoned actor in the sense that he's a stage actor. He knows how to make broad entertaining without making it too broad. Right. I mean, you know, that's because that's what the people are doing here in this movie. They're emoting like they have to like yell to the people in the back of the theater. You know, that's what stage actors do. But he knows how to make that entertaining in the film world too. And that guy can take lines like, oh, these old things, you know, this thing here, oh, it's a rental. You know, I don't, maybe I just like that kind of like shaky gay man talk. No, hey, hey. Yeah. But you know, I find Nathan Lane entertaining.
What do we have here?
Are you a royal?
No, not a royal, just a humble servant.
You're riding in the Queen's sled.
No, this is a rental.
Well, you're wearing royal garments.
These tired old rags. You boys have got to get out of the woods more often. Don't spend it all in one place.
Plus, Nathan Lane has got the best scream in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah. Every time he screams.
Every time something happens,
he sounded like a drag. He sounded like somebody set a drag queen on fire. I would laugh my ass off during every scene where he was doing that.
Nathan Lane, let me tell you something. If Nathan Lane is listening, I know he is. He listens to us. Of course he is.
He's a big fan of Spielberg.
Nathan Lane, please don't ever die in front of us. Like, because if somebody sets you on fire or pushes you off a cliff, we're gonna laugh.
We're gonna laugh our ass off. We're gonna laugh and then we're gonna applaud you.
No, really, guys, help me!
Oh, that's beautiful. Man. Look at the masterwork. Look at the masterwork. Take some notes, people.
Yeah, in fact, don't come to acting school.
No,
Nathan Lane, we're going to show you how you teach people how to scream.
Can I tell you actually, surprisingly, who I found really good in this movie too? Julia Roberts. I thought she
Did you say Julia Roberts?
Julia Roberts.
Okay, I thought you said Roberts. Like
no.
Like Ribbits?
Julia Roberts. No, Julia Roberts. She played a great bitch, you know, where I'm like, wow, you have this mastered. I don't know if you're drawing this from real life or what, but wow, it's very effective in this movie. You can't help but despise her watching this.
When you look at this, it's like, damn, I don't ever want to work for Julia Roberts.
Oh hell no!
Whoever her personal assistant is, I feel sorry for that.
You know what? Yeah, because that's all I could really think. I'm like, I wouldn't be shocked if she had like at least a couple of moments where she probably acted like this to her assistant at some point, or even her driver. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah. What in the fuck do you do? I need this motherfucker needs to be punished.
You assistant. I don't know what it is. I'm just sitting here. I know, but you're just irritating. Your face, because that's what she does in here. She just, I mean, at the beginning of the movie, she's just picking on poor Snow White. I mean, the girl ain't done nothing. Mm-hmm. She just walked out of her room. Hey, where you going? I'm sorry, who told you to leave your room? Like, damn, this bitch done this before somewhere in her life.
And she is so goddamn vindictive about it. And just her face, everything about her, it's like, this is coming from a real place. A little too real.
Yeah, no, she was cold, man.
Oh yeah, all I kept thinking is like, okay, you know what, this fucking woman needs to play the 101 Dalmatians.
Cruella DeVille.
Cruella DeVille. Yeah,
I think she does. I think she does play that in real life.
In real life,
I think she's actually had puppy skinned alive for a coat.
No shit.
I think she had Nathan Lane skinned alive.
Nathan Lane. I was waiting for that scene to happen in this movie. I was like, wow. It's like, fuck. They should have got her to play the Emperor in the new Star Wars. She was so effective.
Rise.
Yeah, rise. Yeah.
I mean, and it's to show you how good she does in the movie, man. The movie we know is PG. We know nobody's really going to get hurt. We've seen how cartoonish it is. It's all done in fun, and which is why I can't come down too much on what they've done in here. It's all done in fun, but there is a moment where Nathan Lane fucks up. And you like, and when Julia Roberts finds out what happened, you like, ooh, you gonna get it?
Everyone in that room was looking at him like, oh, you done fucked up.
You mean how you were in the kid? You in trouble? Nathan Lane, you in trouble? You better get that screen now. That's your ass.
You better start running. I would have ran goddamn room like the Cowardly Lion.
Just jump out of the nearest window.
Yeah.
You know who my other favorite person in the movie was? Who? It was the midgets.
The dwarves.
They all make one person.
Yeah. I know. When they transformed and built Voltron, is that? Yeah.
And I formed the head.
Well, how can you not laugh at those little motherfuckers? I mean, they were hilarious. Yeah.
Well, the thing about it is, not all of them are good actors.
Oh, no.
I mean, not by the least bit, but they're the heart of the movie, man, where everything else has no real emotional attachment to it because it's being so goofy. Mm-hmm. Those guys are the ones I felt really bad for. They're like, yeah, man, we live in the woods. Why? Because those assholes in town chased us off. They said we were ugly. And I'm like, oh, man. Now I feel bad for laughing.
You start hearing your backstory, you can't help but go, yeah, that's true. I mean, it's like, I believe it, man. That sucks. I'm sorry. But your ass living in a goddamn tree.
In a tree stump.
Now that's fucking bad. Yeah. Whenever your ass gets driven out of town and you end up living in a tree because you just don't look right, oh man, you got problems.
I know. There's a homeless man in a box looking at them talking about, damn. Well, at least I ain't in a tree. I ain't living like a bird.
I know, man. Your self-esteem took the first plane to Tallahassee.
I would actually go through and name the midget actors for you, the dwarfs. I know, and I'm not saying dwarfs about the movie here. I think in real life, they don't like to be called midgets. They like to be called dwarfs.
Right.
Dwarfs. So the dwarfs in this movie, man, they are the heart of the film. They're the adventure of the film.
They should be. Yeah, with the Snow White story.
Yeah, well, in the original Snow White story, look, I'm going by the Disney version, which I still
That's the only version.
Yeah, I still dress like Snow White for Halloween sometimes. No, I try to get birds.
That's very true. I've seen it.
Yeah, no. I like tape a bird to my finger every day. And bird's like, let me out of here. But the take that they have here, I don't think that they were portrayed this way in the original Grimm's fairy tales. Maybe they were. I don't know. But in this one, they are bandits. Right. And so they wait for the queen's people to go through, and they take the gold, and they wear these really cool costumes, like the accordion leg costumes, to make them look taller and make them look more threatening. I really enjoyed that part of the movie when they came on, man. I was like, and that says something for these guys who are very amateurish in their acting, but man, they were a lot of fun.
No, it was a really cool take on the Seven Dwarfs.
Look, man, the movie, I don't hate it. There are good things in the film, but they come in small spots and spurts here and there.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's all like after watching the film and even seeing the silly dance number that they had.
Oh, the Bollywood dance number.
Well, a very half-assed Bollywood dance number.
See, that's what I thought. Yeah, and people know spoiler here. The movie.
No.
The movie ends with, I think it's a popular. I don't know if it's a pop song from India or something that's crossed over to America. Anyway, Lily Collins is singing this song, and they're doing this.
She's doing karaoke.
Yeah. And they're doing this Bollywood dance, and I heard that I had read somewhere like, no, that's probably the coolest part visually of the movie. And I waited, and I was like,
what?
Not really.
Yeah, no, not at all. Go fucking watch Slumdog Millionaire.
Yeah.
It's like, please. Yeah. Wow.
I have to say this though, that movie, I wish they would have done, now maybe with a little more personality, but I wish this movie could have been the backstory that I saw at the beginning. At the beginning of the movie, Julia Roberts is giving you the history of the kingdom and how she came into being the queen and how she came into ruling this kingdom. And it's done. It almost looks like stop motion at first, but it's done in this gorgeous CG, like almost very short film. And it looks so cool because the characters that are being portrayed in that beginning part, that animated beginning part, they look like puppets.
Yeah, they do.
They look like rod puppets.
Right.
And at first I was thinking, man, is this CG or are these actual puppets? And then when they really got into it, it was the most gorgeous part of the movie, man. I was like, I wish I could have seen that film for the whole movie.
You're absolutely right. Watching that, I mean, it really made you, it's like one of those cool moments. Like, I can't remember if it was the first or second Harry Potter film.
Like, no, you talking about?
The
Deathly Hallows.
The Deathly Hallows. Yeah, I can't remember if it was part one or part two. Okay, part one, where they have that really gorgeous looking animation sequence going on. To where, for me, that was like the best part of the movie for me.
Here it comes.
No, no time for that here. But. Like that, this was another one of those moments where you can't help but just think, wow, such a gorgeous sequence. why can't somebody make a whole movie like that?
Well,
it's so awesome. I know it serves its point, like just as far as like getting you in the mindset that this is very much an old story that's gone through generations. That's kind of how it felt like. It's like you're about to see another reinterpretation of it, and the way they animated it, it just got you prepared for introducing you to something new.
Well, it's funny because that part that we're talking about is when we say the movie's uneven. That beginning part really doesn't prepare you for the comedy that you're going to see next.
Oh, not at all.
I mean, for this almost TV sitcom feeling comedy that they have, you had such this gorgeous beginning. There's another uneven point right there. There are moments of fun. There are moments of actual beauty, and there are moments where it is spectacular, whereas at that beginning. Mm-hmm. But those moments are really far and few in between. You have to sit so much of a goof of a film sometimes with several lines that are that just either are too cute or just don't work at all. Yeah. And so it doesn't make for a bad movie. I think it'd even be great to look at on your home television, but if you have a nice TV. But yeah, it doesn't raise it above anything but a highly recommended rental. And that recommendation actually goes more for children than for adults.
It really does, yeah. Because I'm gonna give it a rental, because yeah, I mean, I think really small children will love the hell out of this movie. And the thing is, I also think fans of Tarjim, I know he has some dedicated fans out there that just love everything he does, just because of the visual style of it. You're going to cream your pants over this, because it is gorgeous to look at. Even though, yeah, a lot of the story is uneven, just with the tone and what they're trying to do with it. But the movie has had a lot of great moments. I mean, like we said, there's some great acting in here by Julia Roberts
yeah.
and Nathan Lane, yeah. And you can't help but think, wow, you almost wish the rest of the movie could be as good as what they were trying to do with it.
Yeah, yeah.
I think everyone's heart was in the right place. It's just, once again, it's just Tarjim's directing style that the guy can't seem to ever grasp, trying to film a decent script or finding a decent script, to actually film,
Yeah, no.
He's a competent filmmaker to some extent, but I just wish his movies had stronger stories. That's the only flaw I see with him, honestly.
Yeah, no, I wish they had a story. What I mean? Yeah, but I think his work is also kind of being, if you're not careful, his work is being overshadowed by too much CG. I think. I mean, God does so much with practical materials,
right? That
I think that's one of the problems with this is probably that he's leaning too much on CG. Even at the end, there's some CG creature that's brought into it where, like, man, that just came out of nowhere.
It really did.
That made it feel like a totally different film. Pull
because
back
you're really not prepared for that when he unleashes it on you.
Yeah,
but I mean, it didn't bother me because I'm like, well, look at all this other crazy shit before that. It's like, I'm like, I wouldn't be fucking surprised if like pigs start flying out of the sky with swords, and having a battle. I'm like, okay, that's kind of what I should expect from a film like this.
Yeah. Or if pigs start flying out somebody's ass.
Yeah.
Which this director would make it as the most beautiful thing in the world.
Oh, yeah, I can see them flying right out of Julia Roberts' big ass mouth. Yeah. Unleashing a fury of pain onto those goddamn little midgets. I'm sorry, dwarves. And I mean, I recognized one of the guys was
he the oven dwarf?
No, I guess he was the somewhat leader. He was the bald one. He was the ball puncher and that Project X.
That's
movie.
what I was gonna say. Yeah, he was the midget in the oven.
Yeah. He's the guy punching everyone in the fucking balls.
That dude's still mad about being in that oven in this movie.
He has that same face. I was waiting for him to punch goddamn Snow White in her balls. I mean in her vagina. But yeah.
You're with the bandits?
You're with the queen.
Should we help her?
She's doing pretty good on her own.
If you weren't trying to stab me right now, I'd be tempted to kiss you.
The bandits' leader is a she.
Bandits' leader is Snow White.
Who feels like crashing a wedding?
And here I was having such a good day. Everyone has magic within them. Yes. I definitely have a happily ever after thing going on.
Mirror, mirror. Once upon a time, in an enchanted kingdom, there was a beautiful princess with with skin as white as snow and hair as black as night.
Blah, blah, blah. Her hair is not black, it's raven, and she's 18 years old, and her skin has never seen the sun, so of course it's good.
This spring,
Mirror, mirror on the wall.
Who's the fairest of them all?
Snow White.
What? Snow White.
a classic tale
Do you want to hear it?
gets a new wrinkle.
They're not wrinkles. They're just crinkles. Banish her to the woods.
You know, I wanted to start this with singing some kind of song, but I don't think there actually is a song that has like mirror, mirror in the chorus. It seems like there should be, though, right?
Right. Mirror, mirror.
It's a mirror, mirror, dun 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 dun. Honey,
Mirror on the wall.
I don't know, but it seems like there should be.
Yeah.
Let's decisively say if there's not a song with mirror, mirror strongly featured in a catchy chorus, well, God damn it, why not?
You know what? We should have been able to pull one from the movie because everything about it just smacks of musical, and yet there's not a musical number in the whole thing.
Kept waiting for him to break out, but apparently Armie Hammer can't sing.
I don't know that that's necessarily the case. Could be Julia Roberts who can't sing.
I've already made my decision. Can you really picture Julia Roberts not having ever learned to sing? I have a hard time picturing
Wasn't she
that.
one of the people in that Woody Allen musical who
Everyone Says I Love You?
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed to admit.
No,
I
I
never saw that one.
never have I.
Yeah.
And I might even own that one. I think people were just so down on it. I think I just never bothered.
It's one of those things that has its fans. But no, this is not a musical, Mirror, Mirror. It has all the trappings of one
Yes,
in a
it
lot of
does.
ways, as you said. And it's, Tarsum Singh is directing this, so it's filled with...
this one is Tarsum Singh?
This one is Tarsum Singh, and it's
Oh.
incredibly lavish sets and costumes and a sense of design. And then, well, pretty much the Snow White story. So it's like all of Tarsum Singh's other films in that they're real pretty to look at, and except that it never really has a lot more depth beyond that.
Oh my God! Okay, this one is. I thought Tarsum Singh did the one with Snow White and the Huntress.
No, in Huntsman. No,
Huntsman.
that's-
Okay. All right. Well, now that explains so much. Although I gotta say, because I think about Tarsum Singh, he has a way of making, like when I think of what was his magnum opus, his
The Cell.
No, not The Cell.
Well, that was his big first film.
No, I know it's his first film. I'm
The
talking
Fall?
about The Fall. Thank you. With that one, it was like, look, I don't really care about the story. It's kind of all over the place. But the visuals and everything he put into it were lavish enough. Just had so much going on that it really did hold my interest. And it's rare for any movie to do that for me.
Sure.
Because usually I'm like, I don't care about any of this. This time, though, I was like, okay, there's all the pageantry here. And wow, some great sets and beautiful dresses. But I couldn't be more bored or blasé with what's going on. I mean, sure, it's a retelling of the Snow White legend.
But isn't that the problem in and of itself? That we're like familiar to the Snow White legend to the point where it feels like that guy who won't stop telling the same joke. you
Yes.
know?
That's it exactly. It's like, okay, if you're going to do it, you got to do something new. Wait, I'm sorry. Let me stop you. Really something new. I don't mean just little lateral changes.
Well, I will say this. This is one of those films in that new sort of crop of movies that's trying to strong feminine character up classic storytelling type
Sure.
things. And I actually did, in fact, appreciate the decisions they went with that. I mean, there were some things that actually made me laugh in the way they turned it around.
You gotta be kidding.
No, I actually kind of enjoyed the second half of this film. The first half, I'll get there.
Okay.
But no, I thought that it builds to a point where Armie Hammer is put in a position where he's such just a slapstick character, really, that he's just used for nothing but comedy as the Prince Charming of the tale.
Sure.
That it's falls upon Snow White's character, played here by, I guess she's a relative newcomer, Lily
she's very
Collins.
new. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very new.
That she ends up rising to the occasion, as it were, and in fact even turning around the classic "Who kisses who" to break the
Sure.
evil spell. And on that aspect of this film, I actually was enjoying it. There's aspects of that as it goes towards the end, as it picks up speed and starts to become slightly its own thing. I went, okay, but you have to trog through a lot of just really dull retellings of the Snow White story. And the worst quality being, if you're gonna do Snow White, you need an evil queen who is convincingly just evil as all get out. And Julia Roberts can't get past her own natural charm. She just can't do it.
Yeah, natural charm, whatever. She was awful.
Yeah, she was awful.
She was genuinely awful as the bad guy. It's like, look, if you've always been dying to play a bad guy and this is what you do, don't ever do it again.
I'm sorry that you're the America's sweetheart. I'm really sorry, Julia Roberts, but it seems clear that you had very few options.
Yeah, right.
She is an actress who is clearly very good at that type of happy, lovable strong female character role. Great. She made $1 billion doing it. Evil Queen, it's like you can't believe what a flat performance you're seeing.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's to the point to where I'm like, okay, she won that Oscar for Erin Brockovich, which was kind of like a Blindside Oscar, whatever. But you know what? She's a good actress. And then watching this, it made me stop and question her entire career. I'd really go back and go like, well, she's a competent actress, but how much range has she really shown? And,
you compare even to like Lana Parrilla, who plays the evil queen in Once Upon a Time on TV, she's the best thing about that show. She's like, oh my God, she's so evil and despicable. I mean, you watch that show just because you hate her so much.
Right.
And you go, wow, Julia Roberts couldn't even measure up to the shadow of this actress on a TV series.
I know. Even at her worst in this, it's just kind of,
whatever. So I'm waiting for me to give a shit about your whole situation.
Yeah.
And even so, even with Snow, it's like, she's really terrible at deciding to be evil. She's that whole like half-assedly evil. She slouches towards being an evil queen.
What are you doing? Puppy love. What am I supposed to do with a puppy?
We're gonna have so much fun. You can take me on walks. You can throw sticks. I will retrieve them.
Fetch! Go get it! Go get it! Well, there are pros and cons to this.
It's like really they play it out like she's just a vain cosmopolitan model type of woman.
Yeah, it's hard to figure out how she would actually wield any power.
I mean, in fact, her assistant, Nathan Lane, should be the thing that at least balances her out, who plays her little toady guy.
Yeah.
Nathan Lane is funny to a point where he can't help it, right?
Yeah.
And yet here, it's like he had nothing to work with at all.
And the thing is, okay, it's like watching Julia Roberts made me think, man, this whole thing is just put together shoddily and all these people are bad. And then the more I watched, I was like, you know what? She's bad. She's definitely bad.
Yeah.
Nathan Lane is trying. That little guy's trying his heart out with very little to work with. He's able to sell his lines. Armie Hammer, who normally in a role like this, I'd be like, forget that guy. I was like, you know what? He's actually pulling off what he's trying to do.
I agree. I think he is, in fact, one of the... Him and the actress who plays Snow White are
Lily
the saving
Collins,
grace of this.
as a newcomer. I mean, man, she's got this great Audrey Hepburn look to herself.
Yeah, she does. Oh my God.
I smell a biopic in the future.
You cannot miss it.
You cannot, especially toward the end. They make it, hit it home. But I thought she was really good at it.
I did too. She had the right kind of energy. She has a distinctive look where at first I was like, oh, she's an odd looking Snow White.
Yeah.
But as it went along, you just kind of fall in love with her.
Yeah.
Even just as a actress more so than as the character. And Armie Hammer got that mix of like being actually a charming guy, like, a guy you would see as a real prince with some level of regal bearing.
Yes.
And
a
comedy
doofus.
and a comedy foil.
Yes. Yeah. Comedy foil.
And it works. He had good chemistry with what little screen time they actually have together. That he had good chemistry with Lily Collins. But it's everything else around it. And in the actor, I mean, Julia, arguably it's the story of the evil queen. That's how they started, even though it really isn't. It's like, this is not Wicked, people. Okay. Right. Don't try and sell us that bullshit. That's what they were marketing it as. It's not. And if it had been, it would have been even worse because, like we said, Julia Roberts is she's just as flat as paper in this.
Yeah, really. There's no dimensions to her, and she plays like, if anything I thought was interesting, it was their take on the magic mirror, where it's not just speaking into a mirror. She steps into a mirror dimension. there's a magic
doppelganger
of
her,
herself, like a mirror side of herself, who's kind of trying to warn her, but she draws magic from it. It gets really convoluted in a way where you're like, I thought I understood this, and I don't.
Well, yeah, and even so, all right, so that character, the doppelganger, keeps warning her, well, watch out, magic, everything's got a price. She's like, look, fuck the price. I mean, it turns into like a shopping nightmares reality show.
Right. Yeah. At the end, she gets the sticker shock, and
But it's one of those things you keep waiting to pay off, and when it does, it's not really that the magic has a price. It's that, oh, you fucked up and you didn't really cast your spells properly type of thing, you know? It's like, well, wait, so you're saying if she hadn't been so greedy, it would all been fine. That's not really magic having a price. That's just not doing it properly.
I know. And what undoes it all is just so completely simplistic.
Yeah.
It just, throughout the whole show, throughout the whole movie, I just kept wondering, who is this written for? Because at times it seems like it's written for kindergartners.
I agree. That it seems like they're writing it for really little kids, but then a lot of the jokes seem to be hitting like much more a very audience that those younger kids are clearly not going to have a clue what's going on.
I found that the dwarves, I didn't like anything they did with the dwarves, but I did like the actors who were the dwarves. Like every so often they had lines between themselves when they were talking. Well, like the distinct personalities they give them. They aren't like Sleepy, Dopey, and Doc.
Right.
But just their banter back and forth, I was like, I kind of like these guys.
You like the actors.
Yes.
I had a problem with what they had them to do because it was the same joke over and over and over again. They kept hammering jokes into the ground with them. It's like, really? Is that all you've got is the same like 4 jokes? You're just going to keep hitting us with them and that's all they've got? But the actors themselves were very likable in them, although I think I just don't like that guy who's from Jackass, that midget guy who played the kind of tough dwarf.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's that guy again.
Yeah, I know. I did that too when he first popped up. But actually, it didn't take that long before I kind of warmed to him.
Yeah.
Because he sort of dropped that.
Yeah. And the one thing
quickly.
I liked about them had to do with what Tarsem Singh brought to it, which was had of it where the dwarves were bandits in the wood that used some sort of spring-loaded technology so they looked like giants. So they like bounce around on these elastic stilt legs, and it was kind of neat. And if Tarsem Singh knew how to direct an action scene, it probably there's a big fight scene in here that involving them that probably would have been pretty cool. As it was, I was trying to figure out what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, that's that's one of so many things with this. You know what? It's not so many things. This action movie is very simple, and most of what it is just not that well. It's just not that well put together. It's just kind of like all right, I'm sitting here. It got better second half only because in the first half it just felt like waiting for it to take off and finally do something. And where are you going with this? And it's like, oh. You're not going anywhere we haven't seen a million times. And the thing is, I would stress the fact that I like movies like this. I love, with Amy Adams, was it Enchanted?
Enchanted, yeah.
Okay, Enchanted. And Ella Enchanted, which had a much lower budget, but it's a really fun movie.
Pretty much anything with Enchanted in it, then.
Yeah,
This had been called Mirror Enchanted.
Mirror Enchanted, maybe that would have done it.
Yeah.
But, you got all the Shreks, all these things that play with the fairy tales. And they'll put in some, it made me go like, wow. This movie needs songs. It needs that kind of treatment because it's almost like somebody wrote a script for a Disney animated movie and everybody went like, dude, this is weak. We're not doing this. And Tarsem Singh said, I'll take it.
I think that's the problem with Tarsem Singh is that he must have some level of self-confidence that says, I don't need anybody else. I got this.
Yeah.
And the thing about Tarsem Singh is there's some really wonderful, unique qualities to his vision. I mean, he has there was a time I wanted to compare him to Tim Burton. And
I was just going to do that.
He's got lots of visual flair, but no style, but no substance.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's fair because, to be honest, I find that his style is very different in everything I see him do. He doesn't repeat himself at all. It's just always incredibly striking and beautiful. Like there's always a couple moments, and Mirror as well, where there's something that just takes your breath away, or you go, wow, that's a fucking neat idea.
Yeah.
But then never really pays out to anything. I mean, there's like a really neat sequence here where the mirror version of the evil queen sends stringed mannequins like wooden dolls to attack the dwarves, and it's a neat concept. It's neat to watch it happen, and yet when it all plays out you go, so that's it? What just that there's nothing comes of that? That's just, I mean, literally, like it ends with her just staring into the mirror, like with a look like she's vaguely disappointed the way you are with the last episode of Seinfeld or something.
Huh. You just cut the strings on those things.
Yeah.
I don't know why I
didn't think of that. That's kind of... All right.
Oh, well,
I'm going to catch up with my stories.
Right.
What else you got to do in the mirror, I guess.
Yeah.
There's a lot. It's filled with moments like that, as is all his other films. It's like he needs a solid writing partner. He needs to find someone who can balance out his style, says, no, see, this is the way you tell stories. Because he still doesn't understand that. He is half of a great partnership. And when he finds that other half, we might be looking at a serious power duo to be reckoned with. But as it is now, all his movies feel like half a movie, and Mirror Mirror is no exception.
Yeah, they should just call it Mirror, because the other half is missing.
I can't believe that didn't appear according.
I can't either.
Because Brent Ratner was one of the producers here, so make of that what you will.
Yeah.
Okay. That speaks volumes right off the bat.
It does. Brett's all like, look, Tars, just do whatever you want, man. It's cool.
I trust you.
I trust you.
I love
your
your
stuff. Is beautiful.
man.
It's awesome. So what do you give it?
There was a point, because as it went along towards the second half, when it became more goofy and just flat out slapstick and funny, I was like, okay, I'm kind of with this, because it was less with the Queen and more with Snow White and Prince Charming, which is actually not even Prince Charming.
It's
Prince Andrew Alcott.
Right.
Whatever. I don't know why that was chosen. Why you just call him Prince Charming? I have no idea. And the dwarves, I was like, okay, I'm kind of enjoying a lot of the dynamic here. And even like at the very end, I was like, okay, that was funny. There's a take at the very end on a classic Snow White element that I was like, ha ha. It kind of made me laugh.
Okay.
Yeah. But it wasn't enough to save what otherwise was a pretty drab and forgettable fairy tale movie. So I am going to end up giving it a high rental, and recommend to you guys out there looking for a reinterpreted fairy tale to go rent Freeway with Reese Witherspoon and Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah. Well, the fact that I always forget about Freeway, but think of Freeway.
So good.
Yeah, Freeway. All these other interpretations of fairy tales and the things they do with them. There's so many out there now.
Yeah.
So many that are good or at least middling. But for this one to come out to be so bad, I mean, what you're talking about in the second half, where it does focus on snow and the dwarves and the prince, you're right. That was better. That was almost enough to keep me from giving it some old bullshit. But then I just kept thinking, like, there's so much money going on here. It's one of that principle again of, like, with the resources they had, this should have been so much better. And I shouldn't have been, like, ready to bail 45 minutes into it, which I was. I just like, wow, it's my job to stay here, but I do not want to see this. I feel like somebody's getting over on me. This is one of those movies where I'm like, you know what? If they make do a book that's the making of, or ever release Tarsem Singh's sketchbooks, jump on that right away. Buy it. But sitting here watching this movie, yeah, I wouldn't want to watch it again under even just at home, kicking back on TV. If it's just on the background, I'd be like, let's turn this off. So yeah, it's some old bullshit.
Wow, some old bullshit, really?
Yeah, indeed.
Well, you know what? I gotta say, Leon, even though we weren't able to do this with co-host and Corey, I'm glad the two of us got a chance to sit and reflect about Mirror Mirror together.
Oh God,
it's true. I'm the evil queen.
you need to be Tarsem Singh's writing partner.
You were saying this needed to be a musical, and I agree. If they needed a new evil queen, they should have just gotten Elton John, and it all would have been solved.
See, you brought it back. I'll let you go a little bit longer, and you did it.
And here I was having such a good day. Everyone has magic within them. Yes. I definitely have a happily ever after thing going on.
Mirror, mirror.
Anyone know how to break a spell?
Say hello to my little friend.
Experience the untold adventures of Snow White